You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Lee. And I hope you're liking it as much as I am. I'm just rolling on the ground with laughter. This is so much fun. Are you enjoying it like I am? That's good. That's good. Anyway, here's looking at you. Here's treats. Don't punch that button. I'm not through talking.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante San, everyone. You are listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libations.
Feel it, feel it.
We are artistic buffs talking about Disney stuff, and this is the show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us for this episode. We discuss, once again, a tale of two Bobs. Bob Iger takes over. Bob Chapek gets booted out. And look, this is your typical polished, practiced Pixie Dust and Disney podcast. No, sir. We are not in the corporate offices every day trying to tell you what the hell went down.
That's right, Kev. We're just here to drink, talk Disney, and try and make sense of all this.
Yeah, so while we keep drinking, we'll just give you something to keep on thinking of, Bob.
My name is Kevin.
I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
And I'm gonna be Lee. Just in true Bob fashion, I have come in and kicked Lee out the thing. I'm here. It is me. It is Kurt back again to celebrate this momentous moment. I am here. I am Lee. Call me to book your Disney vacation, but don't really do that because I'm not a travel agent. That's Lee. That's his job. I don't know where the hell he's at. He dropped out.
You lead today.
Well, just give him your phone number anyway, sir. And it doesn't matter because Lee never gives his real phone number.
There you go.
Sure. It's 8675 309.
309. That's 8679 FAKELL. I can't even spell LEE.
And of course, that voice is our very own Captain Cajun Chavez. Thank you, Kurt.
I'll even get my address out. My address is 8675 Tulane.
What is it? Rosenberg's 1840, whatever?
Yeah.
14 something?
Yeah, it was Rosenberg's.
Yeah, it's Rosenberg's. Yeah, nice.
Something like that.
1825.
1825 Tulane.
1825 Tulane. That's right. So, guys, look, enough of our jibber jabber. Let's go talk about some Bobs. Boucherie. And so that sound means we got some announcements. And look, the only announcement I really have, guys, is just we want to wish all the weekends out there, all the new listeners, all the old listeners, a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for listening to the show, supporting us all these years. And, so we appreciate that, man. And thank you to you guys for meeting week in and week out, making this sucker happen and indulging in the Disney love that we have together.
I thought we were here to indulge in your love.
Yeah.
Because your love is always what sustains us.
That's what brings
really?
us together all the time.
I'm thankful for your love.
Oh, you're thankful for my
And the
love?
listeners' love. Absolutely.
And the listeners' love, yeah.
as well. But
Yeah.
your love is thick and
And
unsinewy.
Yeah.
It is unstoppable.
It's strong.
Yeah.
It's passionate.
It is passionate.
Yeah.
It's hot, and it's ethnic.
Well, that
Whatever that means.
It's spicy. Know where
Yeah.
that was going, but and for all you listeners who don't know out there, boucherie means gobble gobble in Cajun, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, girls get on the floor and boucherie.
Boucherie.
Gobble, gobble.
Ow, ow, ow.
Gobble, gobble.
Ow.
While you wobble, wobble.
Gobble.
That's right.
And I'm
Yeah,
sure Lee is
thankful for
thankful
that.
for everyone who books with him, right?
I'm very thankful for that. And hey, Alan, thanks, man. I saw he's in Disney right now. So thank you for that.
Good for him, man.
Yeah. Thank you, Danny, for prompting Lee to thank his constituents. So I'm
How
thankful for
thankful.
that.
I've been kicking him underneath the table here, and he's just
Oh,
looking
no,
at me
that was
like,
Kevin's
Yeah, sorry, I coughed.
Kevin is notoriously short.
Yes.
It wouldn't have reached.
No.
Sorry about that, Lee.
Somewhere Kirk's going, damn, I wish I was sitting
Oh, that's like a boa constrictor over there.
So yeah, thank you guys, man. It's been a great year. And also, look, it's a happy birthday. I mean, this is our 10th anniversary. Is that right?
Oh my God!
Wow.
Yeah, 2012, 2022 is our 10th anniversary.
Wait,
yeah.
it's on the thing back there. Yeah,
That's true. It is.
2012,
Yeah,
yes.
right there, double digits. So happy
Well, how
birthday,
about
guys!
that?
Yeah,
10
yeah.
years of this.
I know. 10 years of the Magic Our Way podcast in your ear holes, absorbing all the free opinions,
That's right.
welcoming all the opinions.
And we still refuse to go commercial.
That's right. Basically, because nobody wants to hire us.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that. And,
Well,
you know,
yeah.
people only care about you if you're in the parks every day, telling them, you know,
What to do? Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Like when to scratch your balls when nobody
Mhm.
can look. That
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Can't have that.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Thank you for ivorycomics.com, and thank you for all the bots that haven't messed with them so far because you're
Yes.
still here.
Very grateful for
Nobody
that.
shot him. Thank you to any airline that Lee flies for getting this ass here and all the rental cars that are quality. So I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for my health.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thankful for your health.
beautiful.
And
You
that way I
should.
can show up as well and do this thing. So,
And be happy. Yes.
so happy birthday and thanks, guys, for sticking with us so long. Hope you have a great weekend and enjoy those Black Friday sales. Here we are live on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. Apologize, we're a little late, but that's okay. We finally got on and had a little technical difficulty and some Chinese food, but that always happens. But we're here to talk about the Bobs, man. Everybody's talking about it in Disney Fan Universe. We've got about, 24 hours that we've marinated on this thing, and so we have some thoughts. And, of course, as we're wont to do, we're going to share those thoughts with you, the Mohican Nation. You've had a great conversation in the group, so thank you for that. It's been fun to follow. We haven't been able to reply as often as we do because, we got work and stuff. And we have to think about some of these things, these paragraphs that you guys write. So I'm just curious, just absorb all the details and fully understand it before we reply with some kind of response that's merit that. But anyway, yeah, so we're talking about Bob's, man. Bob Iger, Bob Chapek. I think maybe a few years ago we were talking about Bob Iger stepping down as well and then Chapek taking over. And now 24 hours ago, Chapek got handed his walking papers and it was announced that Iger was taken back over the company, at least for a couple of years. Man, this has been a hell of a 24 hours, huh?
Yes, it has. It reminded me of that line from The Usual Suspects. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of, mixed... I don't know if I want to say mixed reactions, but it's like seems a majority in favor of this change.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit in the minority against this kind of change. I don't know what to think about this because I did listen back to a couple of our old podcasts where we talked about Iger and his Igerness and things like that, and it wasn't terribly favorable, if I remember correctly.
No, this is not something that we would have ever chosen in any circle of hell that we had to visit.
No.
That we'd go back. I think I said it in the group. This is like killing off Snoke and running into the open arms of the Emperor.
Save me.
Excellent.
It's yeah. I understand why people are excited about the change because clearly things were not going well, and Chapek was not very media savvy. Didn't really quite understand when he should hold his tongue back, when he should be a little bit measured in response, how to handle things most effectively that didn't bring any further issues to an already problematic performance by this company. But yeah, this is not the guy I was hoping that they would bring back. I mean, this is basically a more subtle, charismatic version of Chapek. I mean, he's Chapek without looking like he should be razzing Superman, with kryptonite.
Kryptonite, yeah.
I mean, he looks like a supervillain.
The Weatherman.
Yeah. So,
The leader?
He's like a Spider-Man villain. To be
Yeah?
honest with you. Yeah. I think it's crazy. I mean, I feel bad for anyone that loses their job. And I think this man just had Chapek, that is. I mean, he just had some very, very bad luck. I mean, I don't know of any other Disney president that's gone through pandemics and such, and whatnot. I don't know what's the tenure that you give a Disney president to kind of shake it off, but boy, he did not get none of
We
that.
didn't get much of that.
no.
No.
Let me give it a chance. I mean, I asked this earlier, and it makes me wonder if he's become like a patsy for all this.
He does very much seem like a patsy. It did seem like a coup d'etat. That's how I looked at it. They set him up to fail. And again, it's not to say he would succeed. It's not to say this guy was awesome. It's not to say we're grieving for this man. He's very well paid right now. And it's not to say this guy didn't make mistakes in the very, very short period of time that he was in charge. But it's kind of difficult to separate the mistakes from the performance because it wasn't there that long.
Right.
And I understand it, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't think that Iger was undermining him from the start. He was always around, never really quite left. I mean, officially he was out of Disney for what was it? We figured 11 months.
11 months, yeah.
11 months he was officially gone. And still there were stories coming out all the time. Obviously, Iger was the largest shareholder. So, I mean, I don't think,
board, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not happy with this because I do feel like Iger pulled off something here.
Yeah, and I think from a business standpoint, I can see, okay, we don't want this person up, but we got to put some money in there that at least has some experience. Okay, great. So you put him in there, put him a short contract, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, it gives you time to find a suitable replacement, right? At least that's the perception.
Yeah.
But man, it's in my whole lifetime, this is the first time it's been that abrupt.
Well, on June
Twice, it was abrupt.
In June of this year, they gave him Chapek a 3-year contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
In June,
yeah,
it's 5 months ago.
5 months, he messed up everything.
Exactly. I mean,
yeah, little change in the weather. It was hot in June. Now it's cold. It's oh man.
I was gonna say that.
Let's think about this a little bit.
He drove that bus right off the cliff.
Yeah.
I mean, how many movies did he greenlight, oversee, and hey, this was my baby? I don't even know. Is there a one? Is there a one project? None I can think of off the top of my head.
I can't think of anything.
The closest I can think of is to being his baby is Disney Genie Plus, but that was announced to an Iger's run, so who knows how much of that was what they had already planned and how much of that was Chapek. I can say Chapek absolutely could have changed things if he didn't like the way it was going, but there could be reasons, and I think we've talked about this before on the show, that there are so many areas of the parks that were underperforming that this is another way to make money off of, instead of adding capacity and getting more people into the parks, we just keep milking the people who are coming. How do we do that? We keep creating new things for them to pay for.
Oh, I know what the problem was.
What?
The Space 220, man. You remember when that one time we ran into him at the restaurant? And we saw him there, saw the bald dude.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
You didn't have time to
What's
talk
up with your restaurant? Yeah, we tried to talk to him.
Well, next time you go, you'll probably be waiting tables.
I was going to say.
And the service will still be slow. I don't know.
Don't I know you from somewhere?
It all started with Space 220. And it was just downhill from there.
He's actually out in space just floating. Need a job.
I don't think Lee and Kirk have commented, have they? Have they given their thoughts?
Well, I have one reigning thought in my head about this whole thing is that I understand when people got excited because it's oh, thank God this guy is gone. They're going to bring back Iger. It's going to be great, blah, 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 blah. And I'm and I was in that camp too, right immediately. I'm oh, well, thank God this dude is out of here. And then you start thinking about it. You're well, everything that's going on right now was started by Iger. The bus is going away, the Genie Plus being added, the park reservation systems that are still around. Yeah. And so, did Chapek continue with those policies and maybe even make some of them worse? For example, Genie Plus, it was not great to begin with, but then they started not allowing you to add it into your park reservation. So you had to do this nightly. Then they flipped it from being a certain price to being this fluctuating price, which today, $29 was the cost to add Genie Plus today, just by the way.
I saw that.
Per day, per person.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. So that's on him. But let's say in the political arena, you are myself, a Democrat, and every Republican, you don't like them for whatever reason. Oh man, George Bush, blah. George Bush Jr., blah, 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 blah. Then a certain person comes along and you're man, I really kind of gave old George a hard time. Maybe he wasn't as bad as I thought he was. And so maybe that's the attitude towards Iger is okay, well, we didn't really like him that much, but dang, it's better than we got now, and so maybe that's part of it. But I'm not super excited about any of this. It's okay, it's the new boss, same as the old boss. And I don't see anything to get excited about. It's okay, well, it's going to be the same stuff. So what are we so hurrah about? just like, okay, well, the same stuff that's been going on is going to keep going on.
It's kind of like enjoying, embracing the change for the sake of change, almost, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's something different, so it's got to be better, even though we're not remembering what it was that this person was doing
But
beforehand.
that's the irony, though, right? Because it's not different. Because this dude already did this job,
Yeah,
right?
right. It's going to go back, not go back, but it's going to continue on a path. Maybe it wasn't the direction that that they wanted it to go,
Yeah.
and so they want somebody that can at least kind of take it in the right direction, or at least right direction.
It's like
for them.
this guy cheated on me, but at least it wasn't this guy who beat me.
Yeah.
Either one of those are good, you know?
But didn't he, Chapek was kind of trained by Iger, right? Like he was supposed to be groomed to take this position. So isn't that also on him? That'd be like if Mr. Miyagi trains Daniel and then Daniel gets his ass beat in the tournament. Does that say that Daniel is a terrible fighter? Or does that say that Mr. Miyagi wasn't that good of a teacher? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if this guy is groomed to be the next guy and he fails, then shouldn't we also be worried about the guy who groomed him?
Well, I was reading some reports where it said that they had a falling out at some point. I don't know exactly when that took place. I don't know how accurate that is, but it makes sense if there's a lot of infighting, and you know, Wall Street tends to not like infighting and whatnot and stuff. And so,
when I saw this last night on Facebook, I had to check because I think it was you that posted it, Kevin, like verified, confirmed, or whatever. But still, I had to go look, and then I went and looked somewhere else. And when I came back to that page, refreshed, it was all over. It was like one after the other, bam, 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 bam. Everybody was reporting. I thought, okay, well, it must be true. And my first reaction, as you can see from my reaction comments to the first post, is just laughter. I mean, my God, is that how bad it is? You fired the top man on a Sunday in November.
before Thanksgiving.
Before he was about ready
Right
to
before
introduce
Thanksgiving.
Elton John, he was scheduled to go out and introduce Elton John at Dodger Stadium.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes, because it was going to live stream on Disney Plus.
You can't the top man on a random Sunday in November right before Thanksgiving. Is that how bad it is? You can't even wait until the news day starts on the Monday and just say, you know what, let's give the man a night to before we announce it.
No, dude.
Let him do his gig and then go.
It's like JFK, dude. It reminds me of that movie JFK, where it's like this was a military-style execution from start to finish. This was a coup d'etat with Bob Iger waiting in the wings.
That's, yeah. That's the same thing I thought when you use the words coup d'etat and I think it was something else Patsy y'all used earlier. Like, hey,
Patsy,
JFK,
yeah.
same thing.
It's very conspiratorial, this whole thing. Something was in the works. The fact that happened, they'd already canned his right-hand man. He's gone now, too. All within a matter of 24 hours. I mean, it's crazy. This has been in the works for quite some time.
We're not privy to any of the motivations that would force people to do this kind of a thing.
Nope.
But we are witnessing the after effects of such shock.
Mm-hmm. But notoriously, Bob Iger, he's had trouble with successing. We do know that.
Successing?
Yes, all that.
Iger stuck around. How many times was he supposed to retire? When he supposed to retire, like back in 2006?
Yep.
And he just kept sticking around. And all of a sudden you know what? Pandemic coming. I didn't see that coming. You know what? I'm out. Take back. This is your take over, bro. I'm out of here.
Exactly.
That was a good time for me to bow out.
Yeah, he didn't give him a run book either.
There was an article in the Wall Street Journal from 2017. I had to look this up. They were quoted as saying some people who know Mr. Iger believe he simply doesn't want to retire yet, despite stating repeatedly that he intends to. And it even went into the story of Tom Staggs, who was his number 2 at the time, and someone that everyone thought would be his successor. So much so, like in 2003, while he was having lunch with Bob Iger and a couple of members of the Disney board of executives, Iger starts choking at lunch, and he's turning red. And this Tom Staggs comes over, gives him the Heimlich maneuver, out pops a piece of chicken, saves the dude's life. Everyone's like, man, this dude's a hero. They're friends. They're longtime friends. Their kids go to the same school. Everyone just said that this guy was going to be the one that succeeded Iger one day. And then all of a sudden, there's a meeting in March of 2016 where Iger basically informs him that, the board has lost confidence in your ability to ascend to the top job. So we're going to expand our search for a successor, pull the plug on him. And he was like, oh, okay, well, then I guess I have to resign. There's nowhere for me to go. I was dead end job here. So, I mean, he left right after that. So And then they re-up Bob not too long, I think, after that, if I'm not mistaken. I could be. It's been a while. But anyway, point being is that, he always seems to have had a problem with this. And so who does he pick to succeed him? Who's his hand-chosen successor? A guy that he knows is going to fall flat on his face because of the circumstances and the personality. I mean, it just seems a little...
genius, if that's the case.
Yeah, evil genius.
You need me back here.
Take over the world.
That's cool. A man saved your life from choking on chicken and you don't even give him no job.
Exactly.
You're making him choke on your chicken.
You should have made him choke on his own chicken.
They even said that he had a license plate with the words on it, "Is there life after Disney?" I don't know how you fit the whole thing on there, but it was printed on a license plate. "Is there life after Disney?"
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot to fit on there.
That it is. But that's according to the Wall Street Journal.
That's a reputable news source for sure.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
I don't know for Chapek. I don't know if there's life after Disney, but there sure is a whole lot of money after Disney.
Yeah, I'm just bummed that there's a non-disclosure agreement in there because I really would like to know a little bit more about what happened. And one of these days, I bet you there will be a Disney War book written. Disney War.
Oh, yeah,
We're on
absolutely.
part 3 at this point. I don't even know.
Read a book on it.
Yeah, I would like to know exactly what happened here because he was set up to fail. There's no doubt in my mind. Whether he was the right guy for the job or not is irrelevant. He was not put in a position to succeed at all. All of us thought it was weird when at the advent of the pandemic, this guy was put in charge and Iger finally was like, "I'm stepping back. I'm not doing this anymore." Remember, everyone said he was running for president. That was the other thing with him is that,
Yeah, people were saying that. I remember that.
Right. I mean,
back in the day.
I think he likes money and power. I don't know.
I guess
this
when
for
you
sure.
start as a weatherman, I guess, you
Right.
appreciate it when you start getting it.
I guess you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who doesn't. But at 71, you think he'd gotten all he need.
Never enough. Probably buying some sort of immortal chamber or something like that. He's saving up to get all of that. I mean, one thing that's going to be bad for Chapek, though, is since he's fired, if he starts coming out one of those motivational speaking books and stuff, ain't nobody going to buy it.
No.
Chapek?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you got, again,
Clear advice.
Yeah. How to stay on top.
Yeah.
For like under 2 years. Like, how to get fired on a Sunday.
Yeah,
Read my book.
Short performer?
How to kind of get on top and then
just not stay there.
Last 30 seconds and disappoint you women.
How to be jacked and not know it. Yeah. That's going to,
How to be
tough.
jacked and not know it.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to have him, file. Not like to what Kirk said. I mean, it's like he's going to be broke, I'm sure.
No.
Whatever his salary is, it's probably more than the average 20,000 people make in a year, but still.
What I read was he's leaving with about $23 million.
Yeah,
$23 million?
Well, the package is worth up to about $23 million.
Do you think he gets a window on Main Street?
It's broken if it is.
How about a trash can or something?
Yeah, exactly.
He gets a windowsill.
They'll give him a manhole cover so everybody can stomp on it when they pass through.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, give him both that.
Dang, he gonna get no love, man.
I can't really necessarily say I feel sorry for the guy, but at the same point in time, it did seem like a pretty untenable situation. And I remember there was rumors I think it was early 2022 there were rumors that he was coming back. The rumors were always there. He was never ever really gone. And they asked him about it one time, what you call it? Hey, he's like, "Oh, that's ridiculous. I've been gone for a long. Once you're gone, you're gone. That's it. There's no coming back." Something to that effect. Sure enough, not even a year later, he's back.
He's back.
Mm-hmm. Just remember this conversation in 2018. We all speculated that something was up.
Yeah.
Something doesn't feel right. We don't know what the heck is going on. You know, and it's like, well, it's still something is up. We still don't know what the heck is going on. And all this stuff is just so very weird.
Yeah.
Mental. I mean, everybody's, a lot of people being positive about it. Hopefully things are better. I mean, some cast members are saying this is a good thing, and some are like, it's not really as great.
Well, I think it probably is a good thing for cast members because Bob Iger knew how to placate the cast members, knew how to treat them right, knew how to not say silly things that would cause issues. I mean, I think Chapek got into it over that bill in Florida with the cast members at one point in time, right? Because he didn't speak up soon enough. And then when he spoke up, it was like, well, too little, too late.
Right.
So he got in hot water with them because of that, allegedly. I mean, that was what the stories were about. At that point in time,
RFID was it RFID or RCID? Yeah, RFID. That's the wrong thing.
Reedy Creek?
Yeah, Reedy Creek. Yeah, was under his watch, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Because that was the response to him saying, "Okay, now we're going to go all the way in and be supportive of this." And they were like, "Oh, really?" Well, let's see what you think about this Reedy Creek petitioner.
Yeah, he had a whole bunch of things happen to him. Just like you said, pandemics, the whole woke culture and how that really like exploded, just every possible bad luck you can just have thrown at you. And he's one man in like a huge company. I don't know how many moving parts there are in it, but you can't call or predict any of that stuff. I mean, and again, where's his mentor at? I mean, I'm sure he must. All right,
mentor?
I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But do you think Bob ever went to, Iger and was like, "Hey man, you see all this stuff happen? Like, what do you think?"
You on your own, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, this just kind of shows you how the seeds were planted for this all along. Again, a story leaked in 2022. I think it was like April, March, somewhere around there, where they were pretty much saying that the two of them weren't even on speaking terms anymore. They didn't even speak anymore. That that Chapek was pissed about something that Iger did or said or whatever it was, or he felt like he was going to, I can't remember what the circumstances of it was, so don't quote me on that, but I know, again, rumors just kept coming out. He's coming back. And he's like, no, I'm not coming back. They're fighting. He won't even speak to anybody. I mean, everything was always negative about Chapek, and I have to think that was being put out there by somebody.
Undermining everything.
Yes, it wasn't accidental that these stories negative stories about him just kept coming out.
He's the underminer.
Terrible, man. Terrible. He's an underminer.
I mean, the New York Post said that he was blindsided by this. When I read the New York Post article, and it's like, yeah, Chapek didn't see this coming at all.
Neither did we.
Nope. I bet you there was a lot of people who knew about this before we did, and Chapek.
Insider trading.
That's messed
why the
up.
stocks shot up. I should have bought in when it was cheap.
Too late now.
No, it's expensive.
No, like it spiked, but I heard it was going back down a little bit.
Oh, good. I have a chance, is what you're saying.
You can do it.
I can buy some.
That was the last I heard. It may be back up again. I don't know. It's been a crazy day because I'm working. My kid's got a fever. My wife just was telling me. It's been hard to kind of pay attention to everything that was coming out. I've read
check my little 5 stock, see what I did.
I have one. A stock.
We have stock. We have stock as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot, man. It exploded overnight.
Yes, it did.
Everybody's reporting and this, that, and the other. Some people embracing the good.
This guy pieced out during the pandemic. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the pandemic it wasn't a pandemic yet, but it was over in China or wherever, and it was thought it was coming or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he leaves before it really starts. All hell breaks loose. Everything goes to crap, and now he's all of a sudden he's coming back as the hero.
Yeah.
He's, as far as I know, he hasn't said that we're going to right this ship, but everybody's assuming that. But
he's saying that comment about creatives. We're going to put the decision makers back into the creatives.
Are Annual Pass going to come back, or are they going? I want to keep up with that. But I mean, is like Fast Pass will come back? Is Park Hopping going to come back all day long? Extra Magic Hour, all those come back? I don't think it's coming back, at least not right now.
I think he might do one or two things to placate the people, but I mean, this is his strategies. I mean, this is exactly this is what he laid out. This nickel and diming, figuring out ways to charge people for things that they never paid for before. This was kind of where he was going. Disney Genie Plus, paying for Fast Passes. That was his direction that we were going in. The only reason to kind of back it out right now is just be like, look at me, look at how good I am. I don't know what the deal was with that other guy, but the idea that he's going to start making Disney affordable again is laughable to me. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. I'm hoping that this time when he's coming back, he knows that, man, my business model of just buy everything. The guy bought so much goodwill when he purchased Pixar and saved that relationship. Meanwhile, now Pixar is practically worthless. To know the difference between a Pixar movie and a Disney animation movie, who even cares anymore? Pixar movies used to be events. They're not events anymore. Marvel movies used to be events. Not really events anymore.
No.
Lucasfilm, good Lord. I mean, Star Wars, they were like
Are they still around?
You know what? I haven't seen Andor yet. I'm starting to hear that that's actually good, but I've been hurt before.
I know, right?
I saw the first 2 episodes. And I haven't continued.
Oh, really?
But I'm hearing the same thing. So I might, once it's all out, I might just binge it and make a decision on it. But, getting through the first couple, I wasn't.
But you're seeing the same stuff with that. It's like, we're not going to, it's like, hey, let's go ahead and make something new. But they're not really making something new. They just kind of keep figuring out how to look back into the past. And hey, there's a little gap in film time right there. Like there's a gap between that film and this film that we can explore. There's a gap between that film and that film we can explore. There's a character here that was in that film that we don't know what happened to him, but everyone will know him from that. And they just keep doing that. But meanwhile, in terms of telling new stories, they're not doing that.
No, so here's the thing. I was looking for this quote, and the announcement that came out today that Bob Iger says that the plan is to put decision-making in Disney back in the hands of creatives. When we have established maybe 4 years ago that, he admitted himself that he was not a creative. So, and this is funny because this is something that we always talked about. There's an imbalance between the businessmen versus the creatives. Right now it's swinging toward the businessmen. And for him to say that, I thought was kind of interesting. Now, how much he can do in like 2 years, that's to be seen. And for as far as I'm concerned, one of the listeners equated this to like Disney like a bus. Somebody driving a bus. Well, a bus don't exactly stop on a dime.
Driving a bus.
Yeah, driving a bus. A bus doesn't necessarily stop on a dime, nor does it take turns easily. You got to slow down. Even stops at railroad crossings. That's about it.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know how much he can do in 2 years.
I don't know about bus, though. This is more like a runaway train.
I don't know if it's that extreme, huh?
Yeah. I kind of, I don't know about Eli's analogy, but I'm kind of with him. There's a difference between when Bob Iger drove the bus, he drove down a 2-lane street. Chapek, when he took over at the start of this pandemic, was driving the bus through Slaughter Race. I don't even, or the original test track. I don't know what you want to call it, but I mean, the terrain wasn't equal. I mean, this guy started off right off the bat facing an unprecedented.
Oh, it was a bunch.
Yeah, it was an unprecedented disaster.
Off road in an F1 Formula car.
I mean, yes, leadership styles matter, for sure. And look, I'm not sitting here. No one's sitting here saying that there's something else Chapek could, something isn't that Chapek could have done further. But to compare the two like they were on equal playing field, it's not even close.
No.
Mm-hmm.
There was so I printed this out. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. In June of 2021, Disney's board and top management flew to Hawaii for their annual company retreat. At this gathering, Bob Iger made an inspirational plea for the value of talent. He said, in a world and business that is awash with data, it is tempting to use data to answer all of our questions, including creative questions. He said, I urge all of you not to do that. And that goes to kind of what you were saying before about how he always uplifts creative. With the article then goes on to say, and this is the Hollywood Reporter. Okay, I wrote down the date, dated October 2021. Though no outsiders were present, chatter about Iger's talk soon began to seep through Hollywood. His words were interpreted as a shot at Chapek. Though a 28-year Disney veteran who most recently had overseen the theme parks and resorts, Chapek was an outsider in Hollywood. Known for cutting costs and raising prices, he was regarded by many with distrust, if not outright hostility. So the version of the board retreat that made the rounds had Iger showing up Chapek, who was said to have followed Iger's remarks by declaring in blunt terms that in fact Disney was now a data-driven company, and that sent a chill apparently through Hollywood. I'm just quoting the article right here. So again, you see steadily that there was laying the foundation of, hey, this guy is not the guy for the job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm handing this to him, but he's going to screw this up. And this is, it's very like Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien Tonight Show kind of stuff, right?
Oh yeah, it's a good one. I like that. I like the comparison. I don't know. It's like I see a lot of people being happy about this, but I'm like, I don't know about this, guys.
I don't know either. I'm hoping for the best here. I think that this is a step backwards. No, I think we're staying the course with a better figurehead, but staying the course is not what I want. I want better.
I can't afford the course right now.
I want to go on a different highway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The bus.
Better roads, better where we're going. We don't need roads.
That's right.
Yeah.
A little more Back to the Future.
So I don't know. This whole thing disturbs me. I'm not celebrating. I can tell you that.
Right.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not bummed out. I'm not celebrating. I am. I'm with the Rusty Hour. I'm waiting to sit back and see and hope, that there's more to this man than I think that is there. But I believe that what you saw pulled off was a coup d'etat.
I'm curious to know who gets to follow this. After 2 years, who gets to follow this business?
You know what? I'm sure there will not be a shortage of people looking for that position because they know at the very least they're going to get a $30 million payout or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know they're going to.
Even if you only get to run Disney, I got undermined at everything I tried to implement that, didn't work. So many people on that board are still loyal to Bob Iger. So many people working there are still so loyal to him. I can't help believe this had something to do with him talking about there being layoffs coming up. Where some people thought that they were going to be fired and stuff like that. I can't help but believe that had a part to play in all this.
It's a big coincidence. That was just last week.
Yeah. So this has obviously been in the works for quite some time. This didn't just happen within one day, and regardless of what they want you to think. So, I'm cautiously, I don't even want to say optimistic. I really
just cautious.
You're cautious. I'm cautious here.
Cautious.
I think that, it's going to be the same old shit, but the guy's going to explain it to us in a better way. Then we'll be like, okay, then.
It's more palatable.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be done in a more palatable way, and people are like, okay.
Yeah, that's where at least shows like us that kind of cut through the BS, right? And get to the actual point of what people are trying to say or trying to portray.
Say what you will about Michael Eisner, but he knew how to pick a number 2 that without cutting his nuts off behind his back.
Yeah.
Kevin, would you by saying that? Are you saying that we're not some of the whiny entitled Disney fans on the internet?
Who, us?
Yeah, we're not them, right?
No.
Are there whiny entitled Disney fans on the internet? I never heard of.
That's what I've heard.
Really? Well, not on our page, there isn't.
No, not usually.
Not on our page.
Yeah, somebody posted that and was like, "Oh, not you guys." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
They double checked on that.
Was it Kirk? Did Kirk do that?
No, Kirk didn't do that. No, it was in the conversation.
I'm not getting yelled at.
Yeah, yeah. They use those exact same words and it's like hyphenated. Oh, but not you guys because you guys get it. Yeah. And then continued on with his statement. A lot of which was pretty good.
Nah, I would question the sanity of anybody who is excited by this. I would, unless you're a cast member, because again, Bob Iger always did a good job taking care of the cast members, whereas Chapek kind of made him understand, yep, we're going to fire some of you.
But that's a view I'd like to hear too.
Yeah,
the intern, because they have more of the internal view of it than us just being outsiders.
Yeah.
Regardless of, even if we hear stuff like secondhand or by a cast member decides to, just go around the NDA and tell it to people, we still just never know what it's like inside the company unless you're inside the company. Kind of thing. We can only speculate. But
speaking of speculation, what would Iger have to do to kind of win you over right now? Like, if there was the top 2 or 3 things that Iger could do, what would win you over?
Open another park. Open another gate.
That's a big deal.
Wait, say that again, Lee, because you broke up.
That's huge.
It is huge.
Yeah, open another park.
Open another park.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, he's only there for 2 more years, so we know he is not doing that.
Well,
might announce it. Couldn't do it.
The man was in charge for 20 years, and he did next to jack shit to increase capacity. Is that about? I mean, maybe New Fantasyland? I'm trying to think of something else. I mean, he did next to nothing.
What could he do? I tell you what he could do. Hands down, settle that thing with Universal and get all the rights to Marvel characters back, all over.
That would do it for you.
Happen.
I wouldn't do it.
That would do it for me.
That would do it for you.
Not for me.
That's pretty awesome, though.
That would be kind of nice, that restriction, but I don't know if that'd be enough.
I've seen what they've done with Marvel in Disneyland. If that's the best you can do, why even bother?
Well, I hope he combats the wokeness then to let the stories breathe a little bit better and not give in to
go back to stories that just entertain.
Public opinion like that, especially if it's under his reign that all got done. I would just really just say make the whole experience just a lot more simplified and enjoyable. I mean, the fact of having, like you said, to go through the stress of booking a trip or something, and then while you're there to get a ride, you got to be up at 5 a.m. at the crack of dawn, beating roosters before they crow at the sun, so you can make sure you get a ride and all this stuff. I mean, I think just making everything far less convoluted than what it currently is, I think would be a huge start. Do I see that happening? I really don't. But that's a pessimist in me talking.
Well, I mean, they're making money off of this stuff. So why would you get rid of a system like that?
Well, that's the thing
When
too,
it's like
right?
you feel like the minority is the one that's complaining.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And they're draining and they're bleeding. They're bleeding cash.
Yeah, but they're still doing. Oh, yeah. I mean, the stock. I don't think they're hurting. I haven't seen reports where it's like they're. I mean, they may be in the red, but it's not. I don't think they're hurting.
As long as the parks are still making money, as long as people are still going like they're going now, nothing's ever going to change. We want to change it. Stop going. Vote with your pocketbook. Stop spending money. But as long as they're still making money, it's working. People are still coming. Parks are still crowded.
Kurt, here's what I would say to that, and I might be 100% wrong. I got nothing to go on here. My counter to that would be like, I think people have stopped going. I think they have. It's just that they charge 100% more than what they used to charge. That way, one trip it's worth 2 to 3 trips that you used. It
makes up for that deficit,
right? I mean, when a room at the Contemporary used to cost $400, $500 a night 3 or 4 years ago, and now it costs upwards of $900 a night. Lee, tell me if I'm wrong.
No, that's pretty accurate.
Okay. When that's the case, I mean, that's inflation. I mean, beyond inflation. That is brutally high. And so to be charging that much more, and then the way the parks still look like they're crowded is because still everything is not quite open yet. Things are coming back online. So I can't. I wish we would have had more time. I could have looked up and see what is still closed and what they don't.
Oh, Tron's still not open. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I think it'd be fun, like after 2 years when Iger finally leaves, if Tron's still not open. I think that'd be bad. I think they just need to leave it closed for 2 years, because to me that would be funny.
But yeah,
what'll do Iger in, but what'll make everybody hate him is if he comes in and announces in a couple of weeks or something that they have scrapped the plans to redo Chester and Hester. Chester Hester's going to stay where it's at. Matter of fact, we're going to put more carnival rides at Chester and Hester's.
Well, hold up now. Okay, so so now you say that was probably to me Bob Chapek's biggest screw up was D23.
Yeah, I could see that.
That was an absolute train wreck, because if you're going to point to something where he really disappointed a lot of Disney fans, I mean, Disney fans are just give us hope, give us something to look forward to. We'll go for anything. He gave us a bunch of presentations that were like, what if? We're not saying we will, but what if one day, hypothetically, in a dream, one day we did something like this? Not saying, just in case, maybe, perhaps, someday. Not sure, but probably not. What if we did this and they got a pop? Everyone clapped, but y'all walked out of there. It's like, what are we getting? Hatbox goes. Cool. That's it.
Well, you boil it down, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
musical numbers. You got a lot of musical numbers.
So
it's like a big fallacy.
That was a train wreck. That deserves to be placed in Chapek's lap.
Yeah, there's a lot of over promising and under delivering, which is something I've learned in IT you don't do.
Yeah,
to be safe.
Unless you want to pay for it.
Exactly, and it was all over. And maybe he's paying for that. I don't know. Maybe this is one way he's paying for all that. But y'all be cautious out there, man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be screaming at the hilltops like Julie Andrews and the Sound of Music yet.
No.
And it's not because I'm being a pessimistic or whatever kind of word you want to throw at it. It's just I don't know.
You gotta be screaming like Jennifer Love Hewitt and I Know What You Did Last summer.
Right. I mean, guys, it wasn't that long ago when he was still ahead of this thing. So,
right.
I mean, you can go back and listen to all this.
Well, that's why I like what Lee had to say so much. I think Lee's answer was a perfect answer: increase capacity. I mean, when you think of the billions they invested in FastPass Plus, and Genie Plus, think about what we could have had with that money.
Yeah.
Think about what they could have did with it, expanded the parks, made it to where we're not all on top of one another. The wait times are reasonable. You got more people booking. I mean, satisfy the demand that way. Why not? Instead, they invest in these two things, the FastPass Plus, where they ended up, the magic bands are like worthless now. You don't even really need them anymore. You're back to key cards. You can have one if you want to, but who cares? All of us are walking around with one in our pockets.
Yeah.
FastPass Plus has been a complete disaster. That has to be completely rethinked and redone. Not maybe
Genie
completely. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Genie Plus has been a complete disaster. All that on stuff that is not really satisfying the public. Could have had a whole new land somewhere that would have made it a little bit more palatable. A little bit like, okay, now there's more places for people to go.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can spread out a little bit more and not be on top of each other. And now because there's more of us going, you don't need to charge us so much to go.
You know, from my thing, taking it from the movie standpoint, is I would love to, not that this would fully do it for me, but I would love to see some direction into Marvel than the Phase 5.
Oh, that's a train wreck, dude.
You know, because talking about train wrecks, I mean, I've talked about this since, you know, we're looking all the way back to WandaVision. It's like, okay, where we're going with this. You know, I remember I was very excited about WandaVision. Like,
I was too.
Cool. Let's see where they go now. And then they kept on releasing show after show after show. And I was like, I don't know where I'm at in this. I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do I want real stories of life portrayed with using superheroes, or do I just want a superhero movie, or maybe I just want a good story?
Well, when you saw Kang at the end of Loki. Yeah, when you saw Kang at the end of Loki, I mean, you were like, okay, multiverse, man, now we're getting into it. Okay, here's our central villain. Now everything's going to tie into this. And so when you watch, after being introduced to the multiverse, when you watch a movie called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, you're like, surely Kang is going to tie into this, and we're going to get his... Nope, not even close. Like, there's no central... there's no central direction where it's tying all this together, which is what you used to have in the old Marvel universe. And instead of having the characters that are the original characters we all loved and enjoyed, now you get these fringe characters, these substitute characters. Here's new Falcon, and here's new Captain America. Mm-hmm. Here's new Iron Man. Here's new
Black Panther.
Hulk.
Like him just as much. Well, we still have old Hulk, so yeah. But I see what you're saying, yes. But we still have old Hulk, so I mean, I'm just talking about like where we won't have those characters anymore. It's like you lost the original, now you got the substitute, and
yeah.
As Lee would say, you have the Wish version.
Yes,
the Wish version.
I mean, even in the comics, Eli and I were talking about this the other day. When they introduced those characters that took over, it was only for a brief period of time. They never took over permanently. Mm-mm. They just came in so you'd miss the hero enough, because how can I miss you if you won't go away? And you go away.
Iger.
You're right. They go away. Sales of the book spike because people are like, well, let's see what the new guy does with it. And then that goes down. We're like, okay, we've seen it. It's the same old shit. And then boom, you bring the hero triumphant return, and sales go boom, right back through the roof.
Yeah.
You just summed up what happened about overnight.
Exactly.
That's 24 hours. That's exactly what happened.
There's no hero in this story.
That's an old story as far as comics go.
Yeah.
They actually killed Superman in the early 90s.
Yep.
Introduced 4 new heroes in his place, and then he comes right back.
Yep.
Exactly.
And it was an awesome story.
And they even bring him back right. They brought him back as a blue Superman, who was like Electro. He was like the Electro Superman.
That didn't happen until years later. We don't talk about that stuff, all right? It was blue and red Superman.
That's right. There was a blue
later.
Yes. It
yeah, he split, but no, there was Cyborg, Superman, and then there was
Steel. They had
and then
Eradicator or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Superboy, the Eradicator, Steel, and the other one, the Cyborg one.
Yeah.
I have never heard these names before.
And then they brought it back with the mullet. Superman with the mullet.
Superman with a mullet?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, doggy. Get my 4x4, my shotgun, my dog.
That's it. He's like, what is this?
Some books. Holy crap.
Well,
any other thoughts on this, guys? Any last minute thing? Kirk, did you have anything that you wanted to throw in there?
No. I think just sit back now and wait to see what's going to happen. I mean, people are going to be very happy about this. I've seen people online appraising this. It's like Bob Iger is the second coming of Walt Disney. Do you not remember you bitched about the same man two years ago?
Is this the man that wrecked the Galaxy's Edge by
Yes, it is.
This new trilogy?
Yes, the very one.
I fought for the genie in the tailpipe.
I need to escort him out of here.
I would just say curb your enthusiasm. I mean, that's
very good show. Very good show.
Very good show, yeah.
Nice. I didn't mean curb your enthusiasm in terms of Bob Iger. I just meant like if you want to watch Disney Plus, just go watch Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, yes.
Slow down with the love fest. Is this a better than where we were? Probably. I would say more than likely is better than where we were. Is this something that is going to make Disney affordable again? Make Disney more creative again? I highly doubt it. I hope I'm wrong. I pray to God I'm wrong on this one, because I just don't like the idea of thinking that something I love so much is going to hell. But I've watched it happen with Star Wars. That was under Bob's watch. I watched it happen with Pixar. It was under Bob's watch. I've seen
Bob's watch?
Yeah. Well, no, just one Bob.
Oh, just one Bob. Bob won?
You can say, I can't even say that the new direction Marvel's taken was under. I mean, when did Endgame come out? 2020?
2019?
2019?
2019, yeah. So
2019.
Iger.
Okay. So when did what you call it?
Infinity War?
No. When did what's his face take over?
2020,
Shit.
right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Right, exactly. So I've been like what, February? So I think
something
Endgame
like
came out in December. So I mean, yeah, the next phase of the Marvel universe that was coming up, Iger had a say so in that. And there's no plan there. And I think like the plan that they had in place was in place long before Disney ever even bought it. It wasn't like Iger figured, hey, look, this is what we need to do. We need to start off with Iron Man, do this, do that. We'll introduce this, we'll introduce that. And then we're going to follow it up and we're going to culminate it all in Avengers. That was Kevin Feige's plan before Disney even purchased him.
That's true.
So,
And was this his plan afterwards?
I don't know what his plan is afterwards. I would love to ask him that, but apparently he's a robot, and you need a She-Hulk
He
to
gonna
go
end up-
talk to him.
You can just grab a She-Hulk and say, hey, come on.
He's gonna end up quitting soon. I can see it.
Feige?
I think
Yeah.
right now you're gonna have a ton of people who are gonna be doing the research and going back and saying, okay, this started under Iger. This was implemented under Iger. Iger in 2018 he announced this, so this is his idea. In 2018 he announced this, and he hired this person. They're gonna show what he did, what he was responsible for, and it's really fun.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for the fact that go to a different superhero franchise, either die a hero, or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. That happened to Michael Eisner, who built out Disney and was a hero to so many of us, and then went out on such a sour note because he built too much, and then 9/11 happened, and then Euro Disney happened, and things went wrong, and everything skewered down. Bob came in and helped by purchasing everything, but then he bought so much that when the pandemic was right around the corner, there wasn't a whole lot.
Like, here, you deal with it.
Yeah,
He saw it coming though.
well, and that's the big critique with him as well. But he never grew the parks. He never really grew. I mean, and he lived off the intellectual property of other people up until that point in time. But there's something to be said about, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's something to be said about changing leadership every so often. Because that vision that you have, and granted, it can be difficult to figure out when it's time. But that leadership that you have, sometimes that guy has the right vision to do it. Who's to say, I mean, by all accounts, who's to say Kevin Feige is the right guy to have been leading Marvel? Maybe he peaked with what he just did.
That's greatly possible.
And maybe you need somebody else that can come in and it's like, no. Here's where we should be going next. Here's the next iteration of Marvel. You did your part, man. Thank you so much. It was awesome. And I'm going to do my best to follow up on that because I have the enthusiasm for this. Who's to say Kevin Feige has the enthusiasm for this anymore? Or is thinking about this as hard as he... I mean, the man sleeps on a bed of money. Like, he's done everything there is to accomplish. What's to make him want to be great at this? Again, there's that sense of wanting to prove yourself that I think every leader needs.
in the beginning, yes.
Yeah.
Until they get too comfortable and you need somebody else to
Right.
come in and take over.
How many of our favorite shows did we watch and like, man, the first 3 seasons were awesome. By season 4 or 5, it started to fall off, and next thing you know, it got canceled. And that happens all the time. People lose their creative juices, and they want to do other things because you can't keep recreating the same thing over and over again and feel stimulated and really want to.
Ooh, I know.
Oh.
He comes in. Iger comes in. He acts as Kathleen Kennedy and Kevin Feige, and puts Dave Filoni in charge of Lucasfilm and Jon Favreau in charge of Marvel. Ooh, that's intriguing. Never gonna happen though.
I don't think Jon Favreau wants that.
Well, Favreau does kind of both, though. He does Marvel and Star Wars.
Yeah.
With Filoni, so I mean, they probably work together on that.
I would be curious to see how that would work. But we'll see.
We'll see. I
There's
mean,
a-
all this, that's the thing. Is that we don't know what's going to happen.
There's such a stench on Star Wars right now.
Yeah.
Stench.
It really is.
Star stench.
I
I
mean,
think there's a stench on Marvel as well.
I would agree. It's starting. It's
it's
permeating. It's
Kind
in
of like
the
a
air.
camembert cheese.
Yeah,
it is to the
wafting.
point.
you feel it.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
the air.
Stings the nostrils.
Someone farted.
smells like the inside of a tauntaun.
Yeah, buddy.
Spring.
Youch.
Well, guys, I think that's our initial conversation on this whole Iger versus Chapek.
Yeah.
A Tale of Two Bobs part 2, as it were, because we did have a part 1, and I'll re-release that segment during the week so you can capture our thoughts on that, because it wasn't that long ago.
It really wasn't.
It really wasn't. And here we are.
I remember saying, like, on the show, look, you played it back to me. I was listening to it, and I was like, there's a part in that show where I'm like, I think history is going to be kinder to Chapek, because people are going to be like, man, look at what that dude had to deal with, and that was almost a mission impossible right there. And no one gives him any credit for that whatsoever.
Nope.
That is shocking to me. Like, I felt bad for the man when I knew he was taking over that role and under those circumstances. I don't know how anybody, if he would have done, let me put it like this, if he would have done pulled Disney right out of that, made it affordable for everybody, built things out, and pulled it out under those circumstances, he'd be second to Walt and the best people that have ever run the Disney company.
Probably so.
I mean,
this is a terrible time. Yeah.
He would have had a lot to climb out of.
Yes. To have pulled that off, to have pulled off what he needed to do in order to make Disney successful again, when you shut down your theme parks, when you shut down your cruise ships, when no new movies are coming out, and then you try and release them on Disney Plus, and your stars are like, how dare you? My money, my money.
Right.
To do that under those circumstances and unprecedented times, I mean, wow. That would have been unheard of for him to succeed. He was set up to fail from the start. And who knows? Maybe he knew that. Maybe somewhere right now.
He was playing the role so he could take the money and run.
He's on the phone, Bob, like, you got it, man. Good job. Like, back to you. Tag, you're it. I'm out.
We did it.
Catch me in the Caribbean.
Back to you, Bob. Thanks, Bob.
Right.
Yeah, what do you call a guy with no arms and no legs that lives in the ocean?
Bob.
That's a real dad joke.
It is. And on that note, guys, look, let us know what your thoughts are about all this. And we're about to tell you how to do that and get in touch with us to share those thoughts in just a little bit. Look, guys, we hope you enjoyed that episode of the Magic Our Way podcast as we shared our thoughts regarding the Bobs. If you want to learn more about us, magic.com is the way to go. There you'll find our
Magic.com? We've got magic.com.
We do.
Now?
We've got magic. Yeah.
Boy, we're
That is
getting
awesome.
big. Get on board
I
this
should
train
look to see
before
if
it
that's
leaves.
even available. I'll buy it.
That's famous.
Screw you, David Copperfield. We are magic.com.
Hey, look, guys, if you want to learn more about us, the Magic Our Way podcast, go to magicourway.com. That's the way to go to find our social media links, past episodes, and more. Also, you can get in touch with us through the following ways. Shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com, or you can call or send us a text message. Yes, I did say text us at 1-815-MO-WEEKEND. That is 1-815-MO-WEEKEND. 669-4226. And of course, we have a couple of guys that do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli, does things with comics.
Hey, you almost got me right there.
I miss it. I miss it so much. I miss that. I had to put it in there.
You've been preconditioned.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just play the hey from now on.
Oh, we can do the hay. I can isolate the hay.
It's like, hey.
Or I
That'll
could
be
just
part of the
isolate
soundboard.
Yeah, I could just isolate Kirk's hay. That's pretty good because that threw me off.
No.
I pressed no button.
I know.
Hey,
It was like first he's Lee, now he's Liefeld. It threw me off.
I know.
I can draw feet too.
Oh, yeah. Shrubbery.
Well, next time we interviewed Chapek or Iger, I guess it would have been, right?
And we can
Who did we interview? We interviewed Iger.
Yeah, I'll post that up.
You can be our Iger from now on.
Yeah, we'll interview Iger,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll have an interview with Chapek.
We'll have to do an
See
interview
what
with
happens.
Chapek, get his feelings about everything.
Yeah, we'll have to
for
figure that
sure.
out.
Yes.
So speaking of that, man, comics, man, tell us about what you got going on.
Yeah, as always, I appreciate the support I get for going to my website, which is www.ironcomics.com. You can see the art that I make for Project Geisha, Savages, and Molly Be Damned. And there's a blog post and, of course, a link to this podcast so you never miss a beat, an episode, or news about Bob.
Yeah, or Bob.
Or
Bob.
Or Bob, right?
Bob.
You know, Bob Brand.
Bob Brand.
That's it. So yeah, I appreciate the support I get on ivorycomics.com. Thank you. Facebook, I'm there, Eli H. Ivory, as long as you're a real person. Nice to meet you. If you're a bot like we saw today, we don't want to greet you.
No.
Sorry about that. What is that? Paps 204.5, whatever that was.
Paps
Try to get in there. No, can't get in.
Paps Blue
Paps
Ribbon.
Paps Blue Ribbon. PBR.
Yeah, can't get in there. PB
Paps
no.
36.fun.
That's it.
Pictures.
Get on out of here with that stuff, you bot. That's wrong doing that to people. Terrible.
Bot.
Project Geisha has a Facebook page. You can go to Facebook and then just go to Project Geisha right there. Instagram, eivory504 is where you'll find me there posting up the hearts and likes. And of course on Twitter, I can be found at Hancock10166. So if you appreciate the madness there, you just bring me gladness. Thank you very much.
And look, if you want to book a vacation to the parks to see how things are going, you can book a vacation through Lee. But for some reason, Lee's connection got really bad, and he's no longer connected to the internet or life.
Life.
Have no idea what happened.
Holy crap.
He just got a big X red mark with triangle with an exclamation point.
I think he spilled his Frosty into his iPhone.
And might have.
And
I think it's happened.
yeah.
The Whataburger fell on it.
Right.
Yeah.
He got special sauce.
The pickles got all in there.
Right.
It's nasty.
Got the Whataburger sauce, but hey, look, I got that. You could, if you want to book a awesome Disney trip with no matter what Bob is there, you book that with Lee Lastovigo at Magical Moments Vacations. Call him at 832-431-1621. That is 832-431-1621. Lee at mmvagent.com. On TikTok at You've Got a Friend in Lee. On Facebook.com, You Got a Friend in Lee Travel, some kind of stuff like that. I don't know. Lee got his stuff in the bag. Lee does you some good stuff. Hey, look, go check him on TikTok. The man puts up all kind of good content on TikTok, and I guarantee you, he does all his own research. I know that for a fact he does. No way do I help him at all in his research. Or Kevin, he does all his own stuff himself. He is awesome. Lee's the best guy in the world.
Lord.
Check him out. You need a good fast food restaurant? Get with Lee. He'll tell you where the best hookup is in the world. He knows that. And tell you what, if you do all that, we'll get you hooked up and booked up with no.
Kirkavika.
I guarantee you Kirk was waiting a long time to do that.
I think he did a better job than Lee did.
I think we found Lee's hype man.
Yeah, no, Lee, you're fired.
Yeah.
I cannot book your vacation. Call Lee.
No,
please call Lee.
Yeah, no, we're going to just call you Lee. He can do the work. But on the show from now,
yeah, you could be Lee on the show. You could be hype man.
Your lead nickname Kirk.
Yeah.
Captain Cajun Chavez Lee.
Right. And
it's like generally
you had it all. You were like,
you got all that,
take
man.
it, get it.
Yeah, that was good, dude. That was crazy.
You can't. I don't know if you can see him now, but put the hand motions in there like this.
You did.
So the call Lee. Lee can take care of you. Lee is where it's at. He's a special man. He knows all this.
He got the special sauce.
All of it. He got all the special sauce. You say Whopper got a special sauce? Try Lee sauce. I've never tried it myself, but I hear it's good.
Have mercy.
We here at the Magic Our Way podcast does not recommend trying Lee's special sauce. Even Lee's wife would not recommend trying Lee's special sauce.
She did it once, and look what happened.
Yes.
I don't know what happened, but that's what happened.
That's what happened.
But technically, she did it 3 times.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, good for him.
Even Patches don't try the special sauce. So there you go. Well, hopefully he's okay. But that was a really good job, Kirk.
Yeah, and that voice, of course, as we're referencing, is Captain Cajun Chavez, a.k.a. Kirk. Kirk, thank you for joining us on this discussion, sir.
It is my pleasure, as always, gentlemen. I do love y'all. I do love being here. Even though I'm not there, I am here. I'm on the Zoom, whatever the hell it is with y'all. And my heart is full right now. It's full of what we can enjoy and love.
Oh, man. Well, it's always what to do. I was just talking to them the other day. It's like it's been a long time since we've seen you. I was hoping everything was going good for you.
Yeah, my heart is full. My stomach's full of Chinese food.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Great. Yeah, that wasn't
a very
good.
big mistake.
I never eat Chinese food before you record.
No.
That hurt.
Yeah, we were very sleepy coming in. The energy was off. And like I said, it doesn't help that I've been dealing with a sick kid. So
That's right.
forgive us for this one if it sucked. But last minute news, we had 2 shows ready to go for you that were excrement.
Wait,
I was about to say excrementally.
Excrementally.
better. We here at the Magic Our Way podcast, we want you to know that we are excrementally better than the rest.
We're better than laxatives.
Yes. No, they were exponentially.
No
Wow.
shit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I endorse that.
That's it.
I love a healthy bowel.
No. We had something good to go. We were off. Eli and I are going on vacation in what, 2 days?
Yeah, it's a holiday
Technically
week,
less
man.
than 2 days.
Yeah.
We're supposed to go on vacation, but I got a sick kid,
Yeah.
sick wife,
All kind of craziness.
all kinds of nonsense going on right
Shitty
now.
weather.
Yeah.
And then Disney decides to break this news on
Yeah,
us. Like,
then-
what the hell, man? We're on vacation.
Bob's got to make his
What are
power
you
play.
thinking about
Yes.
this? Yeah. That's crazy.
Look, guys, there's somebody to support us as a whole, and you can find them all on our website, magicourway.com. Plus, if you want to elevate your support of the Magic Our Way podcast, go to patreon.com/Magic Our Way. There you'll find 6 awesome tiers to support the show. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are always welcome on the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So, Mohegans, we say Kwaherini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
I have every intent